Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Janet.
Hey, and I'm Gina.
Hi. Hi. We're really excited for you to be here with our Essential Oil Oracle webinar. So we're really excited about it. So Gina's got a little bit of housekeeping to do first, so I'll let her go.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to do is start with pleasure. So if you're not walking, Michelle, I know you're walking. Let's close our eyes and just take a couple of nice breaths in. Actually, if you have an oil near you, grab an oil, because of course that's why we're here. Any oil will do. And you can put it on your body. You can just open the bottle. Either way, just smell this oil. If you don't have an oil near you or you're out walking, I want you to see what can you smell. And maybe, you're cooking and you're smelling fried eggs, or maybe Michelle's walking and she can, who knows what's in the wind. So really try and tune into the keenness of what you're smelling. And from that smell, where does that take you in your body? So for example, I'm using doTERRA's On Guard, and the note that I'm picking up is really clovey, and that makes me feel giggly for a reason that I'll share in a second, but it also makes me feel like Christmas. So take one more breath. And then stretch. And get wild. Yay. Okay, so we always want to start in our body, getting out of our brain and into our body. So if you're just joining us, do a little stretchy, get into your body, smell an oil, use some of your senses to really just pay attention, pay more attention. And that's the first thing. So always starting in pleasure first. And then if you're joining us on computer, put us in gallery view if you would, not speaker view, because Janet and I are going to be going back and forth. And if you have it on speaker view, it's probably going to be really chaotic, like boom, 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 boom. And we'd like for you to just see all of us at the same time. So gallery view. We do have you muted, so we'll have question and answer at the end or maybe halfway in the middle. It depends on how we go with things. And so if you want, you can raise your hand, or the chat box is here. So you can also, we'll be using the chat box a lot. And we are recording today, so this will be sent out to everyone that registered for the webinar. So we just kind of wanted to get everyone's consent that if your little face is on here, it's going to be sent to everyone. Hi, Jess, you're on mute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wave. Hi. If you don't want your beautiful face to be seen, you can turn your video off, but we would love to see you. So we would ask that you be vulnerable and just let us see you. And then all of our other people. Hi, Michelle. Yay. And we know you're walking too. So whatever works for you, Michelle, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then we'd like consent to just let you all know how you can play with us at the end of the video. So if you're going to stick around, we want you to know that we have a few little fun different ways for you to play with me and Janet. And so can we have consent that yes, we can share that at the end? Yes? Raise your hand if it's a yes, a thumbs up. Awesome. And then we drew a couple of cards for the class, and so we wanted to just talk a little bit about oracles and oracle cards. And I'm going to let Janet tell you about the essential oil oracle that's going to be holding space for our class.
So I drew the card of clove. And clove says goodbye to rejection, helplessness, and victim mentality. And we say hello to empowerment, courage, and confidence in self. It creates inner peace, healthy boundaries, and letting go of codependent tendencies and creates empowerment. Rock on.
Rock on. Cloves badass.
And so the affirmation, which is always one of my favorite things, is why is it so easy for me to see my beauty and value?
I also like that Clove says, nobody defines who or what I am. This is like cake all over it. So Clove is the essential oil that's going to hold the space for us today. And then I also drew an oracle card, which is the Queen of Innocence. And she's got this amazing like tree grass plant hair. And just this really sweet face. So when we think about using our essential oils as our oracles, we're going to relate back a little bit to how do you use oracle cards. And so oracle cards, I'm just going to start real quick. Like, what do we notice about this? What do you guys notice? Go pull up your chat box, because we use the chat box a lot. What are you noticing about her? What is speaking to her? Queen of Innocence.
I think she feels like spring.
Spring, right? I know. I keep seeing Michelle's sky, and I'm like, she's walking with Michelle.
Because the tree keeps popping in there.
Because the trees keep coming in, so that's really fun. So that's really great. All right. Let's see. She feels pure. Ephraim says she feels pure. I like her mossy earrings and the red berries.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. I love her bangs right here. So besides Jess, do you see the chat box? I just want to make sure you know how to chat.
It's
okay.
Along the bottom of your
screen. Along the bottom, you probably have to put your little cursor down there. And there should be a little thing that says chat. Okay, cool. Hi. So when we think about tarot and oracle cards, they're all about symbolization, and working with your essential oils is actually very similar. So we're going to get into that a little bit, but I wanted to let you know that clove, which is why I was giggling in my body when I was smelling the oil in my pleasure, and Queen of Innocence, which is interesting. Boundaries and Queen of Innocence is what's holding space for us today.
I also think she looks like growth. And it's all coming out the top of her head, which is really fun.
Ah, I thought you said gross, and I was like, that's weird, Janet. But it's growth.
Growth.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So for those of you that don't know us, we are Empower Your Oils. Janet and I are business partners in Empower Your Oils. And so Janet's going to tell us a little bit about what Empower Your Oils is and what that means.
Yeah, so I'm a podcast junkie, and I always love podcasts, and I was always telling, all of a sudden I decided we need to do a podcast. And so I was recruiting Gina to do the podcast with me, so it'd be more fun. And then we started going through all the things that we could talk about, and we decided that just focusing on essential oils was going to keep us kind of in line and let us have some boundaries, and it was really fun. And so, I don't know, that's how we got started. And then since then, we've kind of added more things on to Empower Your Oils. We've done a couple retreats and some different things. And we want to do more of that in person with all of you lovely people. And so really what we're all about is using our oils in new and different ways. To help us empower our own intuition and empower our bodies and empower our spirit. So it's kind of and using them from more of an emotional standpoint than just the physical. So that's what we do. And I'm Janet. I don't know if I even said that. And since just lately we started doing using oils as oracles. And so I've kind of thrown myself off a cliff, and now I'm doing oil oracle readings, which has been a blast. And so that's going to be one of our offerings later for me and Gina to do that with you. I also do branding. So I'm working on a branding program for all of us oily people. And we'll have a little color magic and a little oil magic weaved in with that. And I guess that's all about me right now. How about you, Gina?
Yay. I love that. So Empower Your Oils is on our 3rd year. So just to let you know, we have over 200 podcasts on empoweryouroils.com. You can find us on Stitcher or something, and iTunes, and I don't know, all the places. So just so you know, it's a great place for free oil training. And so we've been doing that. The first couple of them are a little dry because we didn't really know what we were doing. And we tend to be a little irreverent. So just know there's going to be cuss words when you go there. So they're really fun. We like them. And then, so me, I also do sex coaching. So I like to work with people with regard to their sex life. So I have a little program called Sex Oils and Spicy Bliss. I work with people to help get their sensuality and sexuality back in line, and so that they can have a lot of pleasure in their life. And sometimes that really stirs the pot, and I love that. And oils are my number one tool for that. So loving that. So we'll talk to you a little bit about that later also. But let's dive in. So I wanted to let you know, when we were talking about using oracles, we got to talk about doTERRA just real quick. So we use doTERRA essential oils. Really quick, if you're oil virgins, 3 ways to use oils. 1 is to smell them through your nose. 2 is to put them on your body. It's topical. And 3 is to ingest them, and you can put them through your mouth. The number one thing is know your oil, trust your oil, and make sure if you're ingesting that it has a supplementals fact on it. So it's a little FDA label that is just similar to a can of beans. That is how you use oils in a tiny little form. Go to empoweryouroils.com for more education, or reach out directly to us. And I choose doTERRA because doTERRA is pure. They're exquisite oils, and they have the science to back up their purity, and they take care of Mama Earth. To me, oils are very sacred. It's the immune system. It's the blood of the earth. It's the blood of Gaia. And I love that doTERRA honors the plant, all the people that along the way, everyone, it's win, 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 take care of everyone. And that's very important to me. So that's why I choose to work with doTERRA essential oils. Janet, why do you do doTERRA?
All of that, plus my favorite thing about them is their Healing Hands Foundation, which takes care of people that are harvesting the plants and doing all that, and helping people. So like in Haiti, when they had their hurricane and their growers didn't have any clean water, they went in and created them clean water and brought them pipes and pumps and everything so that they have it, and they have it for the whole community. So to me, that is amazing that they're taking care of the people in the areas where we're getting the plants from. And they also are really, really connected with the Underground Railroad program that goes in and saves people from sex trafficking and slavery. So that to me is amazing. And the Hope Oil is for that. And the Hope Oil was blended to help them heal from that as well, which was really amazing to me. So that is always my favorite thing.
Yay. Okay, so let's talk about up-leveling your use of essential oils. Essential oils, so going back to oracle, one of my favorite definitions is a biblical definition of the oracle, which is a divine utterance delivered to man, usually in answer to a request for guidance. So that was probably my favorite definition when we were going through, we feel like to use your essential oils as an oracle, you've got to understand what an oracle is and what an oracle is to you. So we're really big on making sure that your definitions and your language is in alignment with your belief system. So we use essential oils as oracles to receive messages from the divine. And so we came up with our own kind of Empower Your Oils definition, and it is
we decided it was sacred guides, helpers, and or messages from the universe or the divine to spark our inner knowing and deeper wisdom to assist us on our journey for our highest good.
Right. So that's a lot. Sacred guides, helpers, or messages. So like that's a big, right? Sacred guides, helpers, or just intuitive messages from the universe, Janet's word, divine, my word, to spark our inner knowing and deeper wisdom to assist us on our journey for our highest good. So in the chat, how does that landing with you with regard to the use of your oils? Ephraim says, fuck, so many possibilities there. Right?
So true.
So true. So it's important to look at your oils in all of those possibilities. Jess is typing, so we're just going to wait a second. You like the creativity of the definition. Great. So we can do that with anything in our lives, right? We can create our own definitions, realizing though that that's kind of our BS, which we say is belief system. And so when we have our own definition of something, if someone else is using the word oracle and it doesn't go in alignment with what we use, we have to realize that, right? So as we speak, there's a lot of different ways that we can trigger people because of our own belief of what our language and our dictionary is. Ephraim says, I like how it draws out from various versions of our own intuition. That to me is exactly what this whole thing is about. We have guides and we have these things that we're going to talk about that give us an idea, but when we really get to know the oils, they speak to us in different ways. It's kind of like if the five of us went to a movie together and watched a movie, we'd all have a different experience of the movie, even though we just saw the same thing. So working with your essential oils is really the same way, especially when you're working with them in connection with the universe or the divine or whatever your language is.
Yeah, and just to tell, Gina and I had a little to fight back and forth to get our definition so that we both liked it. So, it's semantics and words and how they make you feel. So you make your own, you have to make your own definitions of things. So just to know that we fought about it. So
yeah, as we do often about language. But and that is an interesting thing too, because when we start working with your oils, like Janet's going to have a different experience of clove than I am. Right? So like she likes cilantro and I don't. That's a good example. Right? Is that true? I always think that you love cilantro.
I love cilantro.
Yeah. She loves cilantro and I don't. So we're totally like, I don't care if it does really great shit and it's energetically cleansing for me. I don't want to use that shit because it stinks. And she's like, I like cilantro. Let's put it in our salsa. And I'm like, well, then you're just going to eat your salsa by yourself.
And that's why I do it. So.
So even something as interesting as how we react or respond to the smell affects what kind of a relationship we have with that herb or that family or that essential oil. So think about that as you start to learn these. I now know that generally those things that I do not like, I despise, are really important for me. I probably have so much chemical, what's the cilantro's what? It does what? It's the deep cleanser of the what's in your fillings, the fillings in your mouth.
Oh, the metal stuff.
Yeah, heavy metals. Cilantro helps detox heavy metals. I probably have so much heavy metal stuff in my body, so I need to use cilantro. But anyway, let's keep moving on. Hot tips on how to use your oracles. And we're specifically talking about essential oils today, but this is really all oracles. Right? So when you're thinking about using a tarot deck or an oracle deck, or even these cards that have the essential oils, we'll show you some of our tools at the end that we love, that we rely on. But these are some hot tips for that. So the first one is call in a power greater than you. And whatever your belief system is, maybe you're just like, I don't even know what a power greater than me is, but I'm going to call on it right now. I tend to be of the family of like, you should be specific because you never know what's out there. And we do all of this in the light, in the definition of space of calling in, I don't like to say good or bad, but calling in the healthier, loving, kind energy.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one thing.
And then also, and the next tip is to let go of any attachment or expectation to any specific answer or outcome. So sometimes you may think you're asking for, I don't know, you're asking for some sort of clarity for something, but you get clarity on something completely different. And that clarifies everything in the end, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or you want clarity and then it tells you to like break up with him. You're like, that's not the clarity I want. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
an
expectation. Yeah, an expectation would be like, I'm going to ask and I already want the answer. Ephraim is saying, I like how it draws from various versions. Oh, I already said that. I really like the idea of oils with it. Like it's an anointing or conjuration of my guides. That can be really hard on some days. I think that was 2 comments in one. Which part is hard, Ephraim? Clarify. The calling in? Oh, the no expectation, I bet. Yeah. Okay. The no expectation can be really hard. For sure. For sure. And that's part of, like, why are we asking for guidance if we already know the answer that we don't want to hear? Like, in my opinion, oracles are just confirmation of everything we already know, right? If you've gone to a tarot card reader, if you've had angel readings, if you've worked in this industry and you've had readings before, generally we don't have these big ahas of like, oh my God, I had no clue I was going to be a rocket scientist when I grew up. Like, I'm 46 years old. I'm going to have to go through 55 years of education to do that, right? Normally, you're like, holy shit, I had no idea that I was going to be so successful, except I did know because I had intention of it. I had seen it earlier. I was working really hard towards it. Or it's something I've always wanted to do, right? Like live on the road, for me, example, live in my gypsy life style. So to me, it's always confirmation of what we already know. That to me is what oracles always do, in my personal opinion.
And I think sometimes we forget. So it kind of helps us remember what we already know.
Right.
So sometimes, sometimes since I ignore the answer sometimes, it just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. Right. So it's like, okay, maybe I should pay attention one of these days and do something about it. But, right. Maybe not.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, Ephraim, that whole idea of like, you're like, sometimes it's really hard, that part of of not expecting something, but we generally already know. I feel like most people already know. So oftentimes I won't do my readings or I won't do my meditations or I won't do certain things because I already know. But if I get it, when I get it, like at the direct hit from the divine, I'm like, oh, like then I have to make a choice of like, oh man, I already heard it. Dang it. Because if I don't tune in, I don't get the answer, even though I already know. So that's kind of an interesting thing. What's the next one, Janet? Some hot tips on using your oracles.
To ask to be a channel and to be of service. I think that's especially if you're going to help do a reading for someone, that you really just need to be the channel of the universe and the divine. I mean, just let it come through you. Don't add your own BS to it.
Yeah, that to me is hard too. I just threw cards everywhere.
It is hard.
Do no harm. So that was the thing I was saying in the beginning, when we call in, I love to work with light and dark energy. I feel like people are afraid of their shadow. They're afraid of their dark. So I don't want to say dark is bad, dark is wrong. We're all everything, right? From the dark came the light, but do no harm. We don't do things like try and, put a curse on someone or any of that, because energy is real, and prayers and intentions and all of that stuff are super powerful. So we practice at Empower Your Oils, do no harm, and we would love for you to adopt that as one of your, I don't know, covenants. What's that word? We don't like the word rules, but rules.
Agreements or something.
Agreements.
And I think the next one is kind of in the same vein. It's be in alignment for the highest good. So I guess, I mean, to me, what that says is if it comes up that I have this answer that I should be doing something to steal money from people, that's really not the highest good. And it's probably I just interpreted it wrongly or something. So.
No, but I like the idea of you winning the lottery, which is kind of like stealing people from all the people who think they're going to win the lottery. Right? No one thought that was nearly as funny as me. Okay, next, bring light and devotion to all involved. This is, I really wanted to say reverence, like to really be reverent. And then the next one is stay open, be curious, and have fun, because Janet's like all about the fun and I'm all about the reverence, but together I'm still about fun and she's still about reverence. But I want to say this is plant medicine and it's holy and it's beautiful, and we need to be so ever grateful for the gift of hearing, the gift of knowing, the gift of healing. And so for me, it's extremely important to have reference. And you talk about the fun.
Well, I think we all need to be able to laugh at ourselves. I mean, you get the same messages all the time, and don't just like beat the shit out of yourself about, oh, I got that message again and I didn't do anything about it. Bah! I mean, you got to start going, well, geez, I wonder what I should do now. Let's, I'm being silly and goofy and it's dumb. I should move on. So I think we just need to always be able to be curious and stay open and laugh at yourself and laugh with others. I mean, sometimes they get the same messages and, don't beat them up for it either. I just think I think you can be reverently playful.
Right. And Ephraim's saying it's because you can't hear us laughing. Who's laughing at us? You're laughing? You're muted, right? Yeah. I guess I could unmute you guys, but I know you guys would take over. Okay. So just real quick, those are some hot tips. So call in a power, let go of attachments or expectations, be a channel, be of service, do no harm, be in alignment, highest good, bring light and devotion, stay open, be curious, and have fun. Those are our hot tips on using your essential oils as oracles. But let's talk about energy and vibes. This is what Empower Your Oils, Trust Your Vibes, Essential Oil Oracle series is about learning about what we call vibes, which is vibration and energy. So it's a little acronym. So V is vibration. And you find vibration in really all sorts of things. Mantras, of course, our essential oils, right? Aromatherapy, color, sound, light.
Everything is vibration.
Right. Stones, waters, herbs. Some people can walk into a room and feel like, oh, that's vibration. Some people could hold a bottle of oil and be like, oh, like that's vibration. Rose has the highest vibration of oils, by the way, if you don't know that. Anything else about vibration, Janet?
We're also vibrating all the time. So everything in the universe is vibrating. Nothing is actually solid.
And that is why we should be in pleasure all the time, all that vibration. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that Ephraim asked what the second highest vibrational oil is, and that's a great question. I feel like it's sandalwood or frankincense, but I don't know that off the top of my head, and my resource book is not within reach of where I'm sitting, so I can you can Google that and tell us. That'd be
yeah, great.
Yeah.
And so I in the vibration and vibes is intuition or inner knowing. And that's just how it comes to us in all different ways. And we have to learn to listen to it. And so it's just the knowing that we know and already know in our bodies and our hearts and our minds. So we just need to learn to listen more often. I always think of it as that thing like you're walking down the street you meet some person who looks like they're this really wealthy person and they're like all happy and clean and nice and beautiful. But as you walk by them, like your stomach and everything about you just clenches up like, oh my God, I'm scared of that guy. And so a lot of us will just ignore that and go, hey, how you doing? And start talking to some person. And it's not the best thing. We might really actually be in danger, but we kind of ignore that all the time. And that's kind of a extreme example, but you know, we know it in our gut, I think in our heart, in our mind. I mean, there's all sorts of signals that come through and tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, which kind of links us to the next one, which is body, right? So your body doesn't lie. So she was just talking about gut feelings and learning to decipher the messages in your body. So sometimes I had a teacher who heard clicking in her ears when she was like in session, or like an entity or something was coming in. She'd hear these different clicking in her ears. So part of you getting more in tune with your body is paying attention to that. So paying attention to, how do you feel when you're scared? How do you feel when you're in shame? How do you feel when you're like jealous? When I'm jealous, I've just determined that my ears get hot. Like it's my number one thing now. And it's weird because my ears will get hot and I'll be like, well, why am I jealous? I don't even understand. And apparently I am jealous more than I ever thought I was, because of now I can identify that is what this means, right? So when you listen to your body, not only are you feeling your emotions, but you're getting messages from the external. Sometimes everything is so subtle. It's just a little whisper of spirit, but it's coming into you and you're having an experience, because we're all vibration. So intuition and body is like, to me, this intermingled kind of enmeshment. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to make sure we're not making up a story in our head that hot ears means I'm jealous. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
E is for energy. And so we let our energy guide our life and try to keep our energy clear and positive, and try to, I always especially try to remove all the negativity. Like I cannot watch TV news or read the newspaper anymore, or even hardly look very much on Facebook about what's going on in the world, because I get upset and I don't want to be upset every day. And there's probably nothing I can do about it. So why bring all that stuff into my life when I don't need to? And also it's about getting to know your emotions and the energy of your emotions. Kind of just like how Gina figured out that her ears get hot when she's jealous. I mean, when I get, overly excited, what happens then? Or when I'm really sad, what does that feel? It's all these different things that you need to kind of pinpoint. And it's just listening to your body, to your emotions, to your energy, to your intuition. I don't know. Yeah. It's all about listening and paying attention.
Paying attention, and then practicing too, and keeping track. So, which kind of creates a slowness. Like you have to slow down in a way to be able to tune into. I mean, Janet's a great example. She has a wonderful story. She drove to work and got a stomach ache for years and years and years and years, and never really associated the fact that that job was what was causing her the stomach ache. Like, yeah. And then she got laid off, and she was like, oh my God, I hadn't had that stomach ache since like
the day I got laid off.
The day I got laid off. Like, was that weird? So for years she had this sensation. Maybe she was taking Tums before oils. Maybe she was whatever, but there was this and so her body was telling her, this is not good for you. This is not healthy. Like, get yourself out of this situation. And that often takes sometimes awareness and sometimes working with other people to help identify for you or with you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is this valuable? Are you finding value in this? Yeah. Okay. So tell me one thing on the vibes part that spoke to you that is either a new or a second hearing of it. And you're like, oh yeah, I really love that. I kind of forgot about that. So V is
We missed the S.
We did? Oh, of course.
S is for spirit.
Yep. So trusting
the higher purpose or the higher powers.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Vibes.
And it also to allow yourself to trust yourself.
Right. So S is spirit. Hilarious. Me who wants so much reverence just forgot spirit.
Yeah, whatever, Gina.
That's funny to me. I'm having fun. Right? Yeah. Okay, so what was your, tell me a little aha you had in the vibes part. So vibration, intuition, body, energy, spirit. Did you learn something? Michelle, do you want me to unmute you? Hold on. Well, I'm trying. There you go.
Did that work? Hi. No, just the part about, when you said that you get the sort of hot ears feeling and you know that that's related to jealousy. I think just really listening to your body. And I think for me, I don't do that enough. And I'm always asking for signs and things like that. And sometimes I think I didn't get a sign, what's going on, but you've just made me think that I really need to listen to feelings in my body as well, not just visions or signs in other senses like seeing things. So that's what I took out of that.
Yeah, the other thing, Michelle, is like what's around you. So, did thunder strike? Did a feather blow by, or did a gust of air? So, So not only listening to what's happening in your body, but oftentimes you forget a crow went by, animal medicine or things like that. So if you're doubting the messages that are there, then for sure.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Ephraim says, oh my goodness, so true, Michelle. The sign is right there sometimes, and we didn't know to look there. Yeah, definitely. Jess says, energy is definitely coming in more for me lately, especially since my word of the year, which is invigorate, right? Invigorate. Your vision board and using the oil oracle cards during the oil class. Fantastic. Yeah. So it's just practice. I feel like practice is keener on the awareness. Now that I have hot ears and I've associated with that, I'm like frustrated because I realize how jealous I am a lot more often than she who thought she never experienced jealousy. And so I'm feeling like I probably lived a lie and said, I don't get jealous for 45 and a half years. And then all of a sudden I became this psychotic, crazy, jealous person, but it's new in my awareness now. So keep practicing with that. One thing we do want to talk about is a little bit about the difference between intuition and intellect. So your mind's really good at observing what's going on and interpreting the information, but your intuition is a sense, it's a knowing. There's no story there. So Ephraim is a great example of this. He does a So that is an intuitional thing for him. Like, do you want to go get pizza? Do you want to go get Chinese food? Do you want to go to the movies and have popcorn? Right? So he probably has a preference to go to the movie, but when he's quick to answer like that, then that really is more of like he's responding before he even has time to think. So when it comes to like playing with your intuition, if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, do I want popcorn? Do I want pizza? You're past the point of your listening to what your body wants.
Okay? Especially then it gives time for your mind to make up a story about, well, I really want pizza, but if I go get pizza, I'm going to gain a lot of weight, or I'm going to be fat, or I'm going to feel terrible, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, and whoever I'm going with may not want pizza, so I should be nicer to them. And so you get a whole story going in your head, and that's when you know your intellect, your mind is taken over.
Right. So that's, again, really important to go back to the energy around you and go back to your body. So trying to get out of the story, because that can screw us up and lead us astray. You know, like, what do you mean turn left? Like, left means there's a parade down there. Why would I turn left? Like, I don't understand why I should turn left. And so you stay on the road. Well, that actually means that you hit the parade and you were in traffic for 7 hours. Whereas maybe if you just would have gone left, you would have bypassed the parade, right? So stuff like that happens the more that you start to listen to how spirit leads you. My language is how spirit leads you. One thing also to know is that intuition is something we're all born with. So if you look at children, like, children just know. Children, this is a really big thing on consent. Like, children know who they want to hug and whose lap they want to sit on and whose they don't. And as parents, we've often disobeyed that. Like, that's your grandfather, go hug him, you know, or my mom made me kiss everyone. And so looking at children as good examples and teachers is a really interesting way. Oftentimes they see, you know, they have imaginary friends. Well, those are their spirit guides. They see colors around people. Well, it's because they can still see auras. So it's interesting that society and oftentimes our parents and our parents' beliefs tell us to turn that stuff off. And then we get older and we're like, I want to meditate so I can learn how to see auras. So Janet always says, you know, we're remembering. It's not like we're trying to learn. We're not gaining anything that we don't already have. We're actually like peeling off the bullshit and all of the BS that's put on us so we can remember. Yes. So know that, like, you know, we are all intuitive beings. We are all gifted with all of the clairs, all of the knowings. We all have that. Okay.
Well, and that's where oils come in too, is they help us in all their properties and everything. They can help us remember. Like, if we need to remember that I have like a great support system. We can be using birch if I feel very unsupported and you know, nobody's helping me. I taken granted, I'm isolated. But if I want to start feeling more supported, then I can smell birch every day. Not everyone has birch, but but it's a great oil to feel supported in your life. So just picking out an oil that helps you come to the positive properties that you want. So like if you feel like you don't have any clarity in your life, go grab some clary sage. It's the oil of clarity and vision. So you can start opening up to that possibility.
Yeah, and if you put it on your third eye and go to sleep, you're going to get really funky dreams. So if you do dream therapy or dream journals, it's really, really intense. Like, that shit works. It's really, really good. So one thing to remember about your oils, so let's get into the whole thing about essential oils as your oracle, is that they have their own personality. So just like I showed you the Queen of Innocence at the beginning, right? This card has her own personality. If I pick this card tomorrow, this Queen of Innocence is going to tell me probably a little bit of a different message, potentially. And your oils will do the same thing, but this card tomorrow is probably still going to have green hair, right? Unless I've done some sort of psychedelic drugs, which I don't do anyway. But this card will always have green hair. And so when you talk about the imprint of these oils, they're all going to have their own unique personality, and some of them will flow very similar, right? Like lavenders are really interesting. Everyone knows lavender is relaxing and lavender is this. Well, I know someone where lavender just pisses them off. I know someone who, oh yeah, it is Janet. I know someone who, if she puts if she puts lavender on at night, she's like wide awake, she's wired, right? So for those two experiences, they don't have the same kind of imprint that lavender might have. Well, lavender is also the oil of communication. Isn't it interesting? I often wonder if Janet doesn't get pissed off because she actually needs to speak her truth when she smells lavender, right? So that would be me, the oil speaking to Janet like so much fucking inner anger that she still has yet to process and get out of her body, that when she smells lavender, she just gets mad, right? An invitation to communicate. And that's for Janet's relationship with lavender to continue. It's the same with me and cilantro, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and I think, we also think that, we all have our own chemistries too in our body. We're all completely unique, different DNA and chemistry and everything. So the oils are going to interact with us differently every time.
Right.
It's different for me. It's different for Gina. It's different for Ephraim. It's different for Michelle. It's different for Jess. So sometimes I feel like I'll say, oh my God, I love this oil. Everyone should use it. Well, maybe not everyone, but I think everybody should just try it.
Right. So when you start to get to know your oils, take the time to really get to know the oils. This works the same about just learning. Like you might be like, well, I'm just learning essential oils. But if you actually take this in with the intention that you're learning your oils as the oracle, you're learning more than just like, oh, lavender in your bath is going to calm you down or piss you off if you're Janet, right? So when you start playing with your oils, listening to how they talk to you, listening to how they speak to you, listening to how it smells to you. Because the more that these oils will start to attune to you and your energy, the more it's just going to be like you can pick up this card and have a personal relationship with this green lady's hair, right? So if you've ever worked with Coracle cards, sometimes you just get the same card every once in a while and you're like, oh, I love that card. That card meant this. And last time I did that card, like I won the lottery and it was so amazing. So you start to develop these stories actually about your relationship to the card, or if it's a lucky card, right? So oils can do the same thing. You start to develop your own relationship to the oils past what they might do physically for you. Does that make sense?
Jess says it's like magnolia for me. Not too many people know I love the smell, and it's so supportive to me with my anxiety. Mm-hmm. And then Michelle says she loves magnolia too.
Yeah. Which is so fun. And magnolia is in our Believe blend. So you should have got the link to the book, and that is great, to our little book, our little guide.
Freebie handout.
We'll put it in the link. You'll make sure you'll have that for sure. So a couple of things of like how to get to know your oils as oracles we want to go through. These are just some hot tips. Use one oil per week to get to know. So for me, I'm like, I've been in doTERRA for years. I'm on, doing the whole thing. I can't imagine just using one oil, but I've been working with oils for 20 years. This is how I did learn my oils. You're turning your video off, Michelle. Great. Thank you. We love that you're here. So use your one oil per week. And well, it might take forever, but you'll be surprised, Ephraim, at how many that you know. So you want to just use it as often as possible, and with the intention that I'm getting to know On Guard as my oracle, right? So On Guard, probably everyone on here, we're not positive about Michelle. She's from Australia. I know they love doTERRA over there. But On Guard is the oil of protection. We all know it's Christmas in your mouth. It makes you feel cozy, right? Those are all really interesting things about using this oil as your oracle, right? If you feel like you're getting nervous, or you're going to a place where you're feeling a little scary, On Guard is one of the best things for you to use. So you might be saying, well, but that's just because you told me it's the oil of protection and all the things. However, once you start really getting to know this and asking, what else do I need to know? What else do I need to know about this situation? I'm looking for an oil to go to a rave. Everyone's going to be dancing and crazy and on drugs. I'm going to be sober. What oils will support me the most? And they're going to speak to you once you start really working with your oils. On Guard would be one that I would use for that. And Melaleuca, and probably cilantro.
Yeah, and just to make sure that, at the beginning of the week, you choose one, or whenever you decide you want to start doing that, pick one and then use and make it your intention that I'm going to get to know you. Hello, oil. I want to know everything about you and I want you to know about me. So it's kind of like make that as an intention. You can use all the other oils if you want to that week, but just to really pay attention to On Guard that week. Taste it, smell it, put it on your body, see how it feels, listen to it in the bottle, use all your senses for it. And then also once you've done that, you can journal about your experience. You can talk about them with other people, share the healing properties. You can meditate with them, like what happens when you put on Guard before you meditate. Does it make you feel different than normal, than like what you did yesterday when you meditated? You can sleep with them. You could put it on like a Kleenex or a cotton ball and stick it in your pillowcase so it's with you all night long as you're sleeping. And then, maybe you start having a sacred bath every week with your oil. Not sure you're supposed to do that with On Guard, but
it could be spicy. One thing I think that's really important is the intention. It's just like, I really want to get to know On Guard in this space. Could you please speak to me? Could you, can you help me identify a part of my body that you might want to be on? Could you help me identify a feeling that when it's a good time for me to use you, I want to call on you? So you can communicate with the oils in, like, I call it just divine connection, but it's just intention. It's really just going to ask the oil to please communicate with you. So what we were suggesting to you is really diving in, really getting to know the oils. But in truth, you could probably sit down, do an oil a day and have that connection if you're really open to listening to what it has to say. And then we always have to be curious, right? Just because On Guard always wants to go on the back of my neck doesn't mean that that's the only place I should use it. That's the only place. That's like there's no onlys. So, yeah.
To me, the most important thing is we actually have to sit still and listen in the end.
Right.
I mean, it's just like getting to know yourself and your own intuition. You have to sit and listen in your body. You have to be actually confident in sitting and listening to them.
Right. Ephraim says, your oils, I'd like to see a list from Imperial Oils about what to do with an oil in a week to get to know it. Okay. Well, as in you want us to write it to you? Because we're just giving you a list right now. Because I didn't write all those down. All right. Well, maybe we can send that out as in an email, or I'll just do a screenshot of this and I can't post it.
You can post it on Facebook or something too.
Yeah, we'll post it on Facebook. That's a great meme. Thanks, Ephraim, for the suggestion. Daily rituals, talk to them, play with the ones that you don't like. So those are all really good hot tips.
And you will be getting a list of all the doTERRA oils. That's part of your freebie download that you get with this webinar. So, and it's going to be a list of all the oils and 3 or 4 emotional properties for each one. So it's going to be a great cheat sheet.
Right. A great little sheet for you.
So you can start at A and just go down every week and check one off.
Like, I don't get it. I'm not getting anything. We have references that we'll talk about in just a second. But one thing that I feel like prevents people, so we have some different things that block people from feeling they're intuitive. The number one thing is your belief. Oftentimes people don't believe that they're intuitive, right? So that blocks you. You're thinking. You think too much will block you from your intuition. Sometimes people are afraid or they feel worry about being intuitive, so they want to shut that down. For those of us that have expectations of an intuition, then that can shut our intuition down. Judgments or assumptions, our itty bitty shitty committee, all of those things are intuition stealers. Your doubt, cultural training. If someone said, oh, she's crazy, look at that gypsy, or look at that little psychic lady over there, magic doesn't exist, or any of that stuff.
Evil.
All whispers can tell a part of us that our intuition doesn't exist. What were you going to say, Janet?
I said some people think that it's evil to know things. And some people think that it's, they try to, when we say, oh my gosh, I think this and this and this, or I felt this. No, you didn't. We don't, it's not culturally okay for you to feel those things or to talk about them or any of that. So
right.
I think cultural training is a lot of it.
So our self-talk and what you believe is really important to owning that essential oils are and can be your oracles. So we have a little process that we thought we'd take you through. Ephraim, I think you said you needed to go in about an hour. Can you stay for about 5 or 10 more minutes and do this little process? Or do you want to hop off now? Okay, great. He says yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take you through a little process, and Michelle, you'll get this on the replay, so you can do this at a different time, or you can sit down and let your children run around you like crazy. It would be really fun. Okay. So this is a little ritual that will help you believe. So we want you to use an oil. I'm going to sneeze, so excuse me. Grab an oil of any choice.
I'm going to use cloves since it's our class.
Right. I'm going to use On Guard, and I have clove, 2 extra clove. All right. So we're just going to use these oils to break down the layers of emotional scar tissue of what we believe, like to get out of our beliefs.
Get out of our BS.
Get out of our BS. So I'm just going to use this statement. I'm coming to this kind of with the assumption that we have a limiting belief that we are intuitive, okay? So
that we are intuitive or aren't intuitive.
That we are not intuitive, so I'm just going to lead you through this. And I had not thought about sharing this ritual, but I will. I think we'll go back and add it, so you don't need to take notes on this. So go ahead and close your eyes and cup your hands and just take 3 big breaths. And as you're breathing in, I want you to create a golden bubble of light around you. So you can sense this, feel this, see it in front of you on a screen that you're there surrounded by a light, or you can experience nothing, and all of it is the same. Just have the intention that you are surrounded by this bubble of golden light, and then take a moment we're going to do a calling in. So just ask your guides, helpers, angels, anything that you would like to have come in. It could just be light energy to witness and assist in this transformation. And then I want you to start thinking about and feeling this limiting belief about not being intuitive. And you guys are all on mute, so I do want you to say this out loud. But we're going to start to just say, I release my belief that I'm not intuitive. It's a very simple statement. I release my belief that I'm not intuitive. I release my belief that I'm not intuitive. Now start to take both hands, and you're just going to tap the top of your head and keep saying the statement. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Go down to your third eye point and tap. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Go down to your throat. Tap, tap, tap. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Down to your heart. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Down to your solar plexus. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive down to your belly button. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Tap the tops of your thighs. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. You're going to do this 3 more times, or 2 more times. I'll guide you. Back to your top of your head, crown. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Third eye. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Heart, or excuse me, throat. Let's do throat. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Heart. I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Belly, sternum, solar plexus, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Belly button, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Thighs, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. One more time. Top of the head, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Third eye, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Throat, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Heart, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Solar plexus, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Belly button, I release the belief that I'm not intuitive. Thighs, I release the belief that I am not intuitive. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And rub your palms together. Smell the oil again. And as you smell, I want you to think about a time in your life that you felt alive, that you felt loved, brilliant, ecstatic, just on top of the world. Like, just bring in a moment that you were just full of life. If you don't have that time, then just create a moment in your mind where you know you are just going to be over the top, epic. Make sure you have this feeling in your body. And we're going to do this whole thing again. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. So I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition down to your third eye. Deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Throat. Deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Heart. Deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Solar plexus. Belly button. Thighs, I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Back to the top. Deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Third eye. Deeply throat and completely accept my love and intuition. Heart, I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Solar plexus, I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Belly button, I deeply and completely. Thighs, accept my intuition. One more time. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Third eye. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Throat. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Heart. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Solar plexus. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Belly button. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Thighs. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Now you're going to bring your inner thighs together and make them kiss. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kiss. Inner thighs. You can open it up and see. Okay, kiss. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. Okay, take a moment, put your hands on your heart and feel gratitude. And just breathe in gratitude for this process. I deeply and completely love and accept my intuition. And then you can say, thank you, thank you, thank you, or thank you and amen, thank you and amen, thank you and amen. Yay, how do you feel? Let's do some shares. Do you want to talk, Jessica? I unmuted you.
I probably feel a little bit more relaxed.
Okay.
I'm not sure anything else right now.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Ephraim, I'm going to unmute you. Except, there you go. You're unmuted.
So at first I was kind of resistant because I felt like, hey, I'm intuitive. I don't have any trouble accepting my intuition. And then after that first round of going through, by the time we got to the third one, it felt like, oh, I thought, okay, so there's probably some things I can release about my level of acceptance. And then by the time we got to the third round of that first set, it was, I could feel this opening and greater acceptance and no resistance. It was just, it was really fantastic to feel that level of openness for something that I felt like or deluded myself into thinking that I already had.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Fantastic. Michelle says, I feel light, which is amazing. Janet, how do you feel? Because you did it, right? I had my eyes closed.
Yeah, I did it too. I feel more energized, I think, and lighter.
Great. I feel a little woozy. I feel like I wanted to keep going. Like it kind of took me away. Like it kind of like I went really deep. I feel like I went really deep, and then I kind of was like, oh wait, you're leading this. Come back, hold space. So it's an interesting thing to me. Like my energetic body is really desiring that space, to be in that space with eyes closed and doing affirmation work and things like that. So that's how I feel. Great. Well, the last thing we have is to talk a little bit about essential oils and using oracle spreads. Janet and I have created quite a few little oracle spreads, and if you're not going to use your oils as oracles with your oracle spread, you can just choose your oils to work with like one at a time to inform you, ask them for guidance. Thank you, Ephraim. It seems like you have to go, so we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. And yeah, so ask your oils for guidance. We talked about that.
Also, just always remember that curiosity is your abracadabra. Curiosity is how you bring the magic, I think. So always be open and curious when you're working with your oils, and like try to ask the right questions for guidance. Sometimes it's, like when you're using a pendulum, it's kind of sometimes easier to ask yes and no questions. But I think for oils, it's more like to ask a question for guidance, not yes or no. Like, hello, oil, do I go out to eat tonight? Yes or no? Or, I don't know, I think the oil has more to say than just yes or no in general.
Yeah, I kind of like the question, like, how can this oil inform my choices today? Or what does this oil have to say with regard to this or that? So I think that question asking is kind of interesting, and that's really great for you to start to develop maybe just a few questions. You can pretty much use your oils with any like oracle spread or tarot spread. You can do a past, present, future draw and see how the oils are basically going to inform you with any question. One thing that we are both pretty adamant about is that you continue to use gratitude. So gratitude for the gift of the earth, gratitude for all that this oil has to say. In doTERRA, the blends are blends of several oils. So Janet and I love to dissect the blends to be like, holy crap, we know that clove is an on guard. So anytime you need good boundaries, it's easy to grab for clove or for on guard. Easier generally for people to find on guard than their clove, right? On guard we use all the time. Clove tends to be not one that we just use every single day. So if you dissect your oils when you're starting to really get to know your blends, especially the ones that you use all the time, it's really fantastic to really see how potent and powerful these are as your guides, as your protectors. Does that make sense? Yeah. Great. Let's see here. Let me just go over our notes. I think we have just a few things.
Well, there was something in there about we've had questions from people on how to choose your oils during the day, what you're going to use that day. So there's all sorts of ways. You can look up, physically what you need or emotionally what you need, or you can sometimes I just stand in front of my big box of oils and just kind of go, oh, which one's calling to me today? And sometimes I just close my eyes and pick something. And so, or if you have a pendulum, you pendulum over them and pick one. That's a good yes or no way to go. So a lot of it to me is using your intuition.
Yeah.
This is a good way to start practicing your intuition. And sometimes it's like always amazing. Like if I just, kind of don't even pay attention to where I am in my box because I kind of know where everything is. And you pull out an oil and and then I look up either in my emotions and oils book or my cards or something. And I go, oh yeah, why didn't I even, why I've not been using this every day. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that oils will start to call to you the more that you ask them to. So if you stand, I love to do this at Janet's because she has all her oils right there in her kitchen on her counter. So it's like I'll stand there and be like, okay, so who wants to play today? Who wants to pop out? And what'll happen, and she has them by color, which is fantastic because then I don't actually know what's where because they're not in alphabetical order. But I'm getting better at it. But my hands will automatically kind of like just go, and then I'll be like, oh, interesting, or like, oh, that color pops. I wonder what that color, like my body will kind of intuitively just lead me to choose the oils, and then I get to see, well, wow, why did this oil choose me today? And we do have a couple of tools to help inform us about the oils. So there is something to be said about letting the oils specifically just speak to you. Like, what is my relationship to On Guard in general? And you can look at your Emotions and Essential Oils book through Enlightened Healing. You can get it on a Kindle. And then there's also different cards. I think Michelle sounds like she was from Australia. There's some really fun essential oil oracle cards over there that have all the information that we don't have access to here in America. But we do have access to Aroma Heal cards, which we love. So those are two resources. And we have a resource that we're giving to you also that is a little condensed version of 3 to 4 characters of what oils can bring to you. So if you picked 3 or 4 oils to inform you for the day, you could go to our little list, little cheat sheet that we gave you. So that's a way to start to learn also, or it's another way to inform, what is this oil going to bring to you, or why did that oil call to you? I think something too, often people say, well, how do they talk to you? And I just say, I don't know. They just do. And I think it's because I believe, right? So the more you work with your oils, the more you believe that they're talking to you, that you are. So you can just stand and like listen to your inner voice tell you, like, wow, close your eyes. What oil should I use right now? Well, maybe it's going to say lavender. And you're like, well, that's dumb because why would I use lavender? Like, blah, blah, blah. Janet doesn't like lavender and I'm going to go to lunch with Janet. So, like I already went into story about why I shouldn't use lavender. And if that was the first word that went into my head, that's my intuition saying, that's a message. That's a guide speaking to me. That's not Gina saying, the sadist saying, well, let's just piss Janet off when I go to lunch because I'll be full of lavender. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what we really need to remember is once we have a whole story about it, then we've already stepped out of our intuition. So that's always a good thing to remember.
Yep. So we just have to remember to believe and believe and work with our oils and practice and be kind. Oils are so forgiving. They love us unconditionally. I think they're even more unforgiving than dogs because they also don't poop all over the floor. Oh, wait, that would mean.
And also, I was going to say, just remember that you can put any intention into any oil and it's going to work for that, towards that intention. So
right.
intention is really important. So if my intention is I need magnolia for anxiety, but I don't have any magnolia there. So I choose, lavender that is going to help my anxiety. And I put that intention into the oil as I'm putting it on my body and using it. It's going to help that intention.
Right. And it may not work as well as you love the magnolia because you already have a relationship with magnolia, right? And though intention. It's just like when we work with our malas or we work with our stones, I always put this stone in my bra and it gives me confidence. And then I have to go to court and oh my gosh, I forgot the stone. I can't go to court. Well, no, yes, you can. It's a talisman. So in some ways your essential oils can carry as talismans for a while. So just continue to use them as your affirmations. So we have a few minutes. I want to do a little Q&A before we go into all the ways to play with us. So Michelle, if you're still with us, you are more than welcome to ask questions. If not, just keep listening. Ephraim left. So Jess, that is you. Do you have any questions or want clarifications or ask anything?
I unmuted you.
I can't think of anything right now.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Was there anything that you want to share? Did you have any ahas today from our time together? Like, was there one thing, because you're getting to really know your oils well, is there one thing that you hadn't thought of or you felt was really important?
I think it's back to the energy that I was talking about earlier, and just kind of really feeling the energy with the oils and like the cards and stuff.
Great. Is there anything we missed that you want to tell us?
I can't think of anything right now.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks.
Yay. So Michelle says, I have to go. Sorry. Thank you so much. You're both great and I appreciate your time. Thanks, Michelle. We appreciate you. We'll send you a little email that shows you where the replay is and then to make sure you got the link to the guide and the ritual in here. And then a Survey Monkey, if you want to play with us, you are more than welcome to find us on Facebook and stuff. So thank you so much, Michelle, for being here.
Thanks.
Yay. Okay, so a couple of different ways to play with us. We have Club O, which is our Trust Your Vibes Essential Oil Oracle Series Club. And it is where you basically get a reading with Janet and I, and you go live on our podcast. The reading is done live in our podcast. Jessica is actually was our first one that went live with us, and we're so grateful that she let us learn all the things of going live and all of that. And it was a really amazing experience, I think, for all of us. It's a great reading. Speaking of reading, that specific reading, the Trust Your Vibes reading, if you go right now and log into EmpowYourOils.com and sign up for the email list, you will receive that Essential Oil Oracle spread. And
then after that, you'll get every month's spread sent to you in the email. So.
Right. So it's fantastic. So we're going to have the link to sign up for Club O on the email that's going to come with your replay. So we appreciate you doing that. You can find us on Facebook to watch some of the readings. They're really fantastic. We only have, I think, 4 live spots left. Is that true?
Something like that.
Yeah. So we have an unlimited amounts of people that can join Club O, and in Club O you get a beautiful book every month that teaches you about oils and chakras and runes, and you get a new essential oil oracle spread of the month that we've created by theme, and my mom painted these beautiful witches runes, and you get chakra stones and all of these beautiful things.
Witches runes that, yeah, her mom
Yeah.
did all by hand, all are perfectly unique. It's so awesome.
Unique, one of a kind witches rune set. So,
And you'll get our great cards.
oh, that's true. You do get the essential oil oracle cards. Yep.
And a bag of chakra stones,
That's true.
which are cool. And what else do we get?
Recipes for your clearing spray, Club O clearing spray, Good Vibes clearing spray that you'll make, which is important.
You get a pendulum also to play with, which
I have.
she has.
I just can't reach it.
And
Which
it's
is
really fun.
It's our Club O pendulum. It's really great. And with instructions on how to use it if you don't know how to use a pendulum. So the other thing we have to offer is oracle readings with Janet and I. If you don't want to join Club O, you don't want all the goodies, you can just sign up for just an oracle reading with Janet and I that is private.
Yeah,
So
you don't have to be on Facebook Live.
Yeah, you don't have to be on Facebook. A lot of people are like, well, I want to do that, but I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well, you could still come on in. You know, we do that. I also do sex and oils, a sex guide from the other side. So my intuitive work, sex coaching. My coaching is kind of like spiritual coaching, life coaching, and sex coaching all lumped together. I can also work with you on sex oil protocols to help enhance any sexuality in your life. So I can offer you that from just Gina.
What I do is branding. So we do like color magic branding. I always weave the oils into the branding process to help it flow. So we can do logos and branding and, you know, whatever you need to know. Find out your why you're doing what you do.
Why you're doing what you do. I love that.
So we have all sorts of ways to play with us, and we'd love to play with you. And you can also just play with us by listening to our podcast and hanging out on Facebook with us. And all sorts.
That's true. We would love for you to not keep us a secret. We did go ahead and put in the comments section there's a survey to work with us. So that's one way for you to just stay in touch with us and for us to stay in touch with you. And then it's a little bit more private where you can say, yes, I want in, or I want this or this or this or this, or I want you to fly to Australia and teach us all about all of this stuff. You know, fun things like that can all be said in there.
Yes.
So there's that Survey Monkey. For those of you on the replay, you will get everything that we talked about today. And we are sorry that we missed you. We had quite a few people sign up, and we're excited that you're going to get this replay. And we hope that you found a lot of value out of this. Please find us on Facebook and let us know what your ahas were and what your insights were. And and how the oils have been speaking to you. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and also in that download that everybody who registered gets, you have to go download it for yourself. And there's a link that we'll send you probably again. It was in the link to when you got your link to come on Zoom. But there's also a recipe for an oil blend, and it's called.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Believe in Magic. And so it's an awesome blend that will help us all believe in the magic of our intuition and everything that happens in the world is magic.
And it has magnolia.
Yes, yeah. It does. A whole bunch of magnolia.
So great. And if you really wanted to be technical, you use your little pipette to get it out of there, but I just kind of dump it out of the little one. So, Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. And for those of you on the replay, definitely reach out on Facebook and let us know you said hi. Mwah, mwah. And we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.